Hey, I'm on Geekpay working on our loans, and I thought I'd do a brief tour of this platform for anybody who's considering it. Um, it's an owner financing platform. It's focused on land, but we do houses on it too. It was started by land geeks, and then they created Geekpay. So it's a pretty cool platform. We're still new to it, but I can give a basic overview and an initial impression on it. If I go to my home screen, I've got all my loans here. You can see we have about 10 owner finance loans, and I did a test loan there before I started inputting my owner finance loans. Most of these are vacant land. A couple of them are subject twos that we have that we owner financed out. So as far as onboarding, the user interface is pretty nice. Uh, it's pretty easy to set up. One big caveat I would say is it takes a while to get your payment processing set up. So jump on that early. We're set up through Stripe, but you have to do this thing with Actum, who is partnered with Geekpay to process payments via ACH. So that's like a 10-page packet that you have to fill out and send to Actum and get approved. So that's a foundational thing you need to do to get on here and be able to collect money. But as far as setting up loans, you got a new loan button over here, and it's pretty straightforward. You just put the name in here. For us, I was just putting the property address and the last name of the buyer. You can put in your financed amount, number of monthly payments, payment start date, which here's a shortcoming. You can't start payments in the past. So for us, we were bringing on loans that were, anywhere from a few months to a year or two old. And we had to figure out a way to do that because you can't start a loan in the past. So if you have loans that are already existing, you're going to have to start the loan, on the first of the next month when you join Geekpay, and then you're going to have to create an arrears using some other method. I came up with a method, going back and forth with ChatGPT. When I reached out to Geekpay support, they said that they could handle the arrears manually on the back end. So I might still go back and have them do that because I'm not sure if I love the way I did it. But moving on, you got penalties. So you can do either a flat fee or a percentage. We always do 4%, which is allowable, in North Carolina where our loans are right now. Then you've got a late fee grace period, which you can adjust up and down. You got days before default, you can adjust that. And then monthly fees, we charge a $14 fee, which is a holdover from our previous platform, Clear Now, where it costs us about $14 per loan to service them there. So we just put that in here, put service charge and then $14, and that's what they pay. If you want to add, whatever, like we have a couple of houses, so we've got homeowners insurance, we got taxes, right? You can add any of these things if you want to. And then they've got also processing fees if you're getting charged. Well, I guess that's down here, but so the payments, if you're going to put in an amount and everything, it's going to calculate your payment for you. So just say we're financing $100, over 10 payments, and we've got an interest rate of 10%, right? With a start date of October 1st, then you're going to go down here and it's going to calculate your payment. There's your principal and interest amount. And you just want to check that that matches, or you can uncheck that and you can put in whatever amount you want to do if you need to, adjust it somehow. And then transaction fees here, if you're being charged credit or debit card fees or bank fees and you want to add them in here and pass them on to your buyer, you can do that. And then you've got another screen here. Oops, I've got to fill out the name. So just put in any name there. And then you've got you got to have the interest start date. So normally when we close a loan, if we close it in the middle of the month, like say we closed it September 15th, then our first payment wouldn't be October 15th. It would be November 1st. I mean, no, it wouldn't be October 1st. It'd be November 1st. We give people a full month plus to recover their finances after their down payment and stuff. And most banks do that. So if say I was closing the deal on September 15th, but the first payment wasn't until November 1st, I would still put the interest starting on September 15th, right? So there you go. And then you put the borrower information here. So we'll just put random stuff in here just so we can move on. Email address. I don't know. I'll put my email address and all my information in there. And then we'll go save and continue there. And then you're going to choose your payment processor. This is what I was talking about. We got our Stripe account through Actum, which we got set up after we filled out an application and everything. Payment methods. This is really, I don't understand why this is here because this is really for borrowers. And then if you have loan documents, you can upload a file. So for the last one I did, I had an amortization table that I uploaded, you know, so that the client can see that amortization table. And then tags, we have land and sub to in here. So if you want to add a tag, you can do that. And then save and continue. You got all your loan details, right? You've got everything that you've inputted. You just check this. You can edit any of these at the end to see if you need to adjust it, the borrower information, and then you can send them an invitation email once you've created this whole thing, right? So, and then the next thing would be to activate the loan. I'm not going to activate this one because I don't want to, but we can go look at some of these loans that are already active. We'll just look at our test loan. And from within the test loan, you can see the borrower will have this dashboard too. Well, they'll have where they will have their loan details, financed amount, number of payments, interest rate, et cetera, monthly payment, blah, blah, blah. And then you as the back end person, as the lender, you can go in here. Whoops. I don't know why that didn't work, but it didn't. But on other loans, I've been able to go in here and make adjustments to the payment. So I could try another loan and see. But you've got, your monthly fees are broken down here. Your transaction fees are here. You can expand any of these loan documents, contact information, et cetera. That's all here for quick reference. So the dashboard is pretty nice here. Like I said, the biggest shortcoming for me was that you can't retroactively enter loans. Like I would love to be able to put my loans from their actual start date but I guess that's just not functionality they have. But there are workarounds to catch it up. So, and then you can see the payment activity, for this loan. I haven't made any payments on it because it's a test loan. So I've got fail, 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 fail every month, right? And then it'll give you, any message history, loan documents, ledger entries. If you've made, I guess they make the ledger entries for you here. They're showing you the balance and the penalties and service fees and interest and all that stuff. So that's an automated thing on their dashboard. Scheduled payments. We got a past due amount. And this is, again, what's nice about this. Part of why we jumped down with these guys is because we were calculating a lot of this stuff because QuickBooks, which we were using after Clear Now, was not working very well. So this will calculate everything for you and tell you and the borrower what's due, which is very nice. Back to the loan overview. I guess you can record a credit note. If somebody, pays you by a check or something and you need to put that in there because it wasn't through this platform. Make a payment. If you want to pay it yourself, you could do that, I guess. Payment methods. That's my payment method that's in here. What else do we have? Contact information, loan requests. I guess if they put in a request on their loan. I don't know why this is on our dashboard again, but the borrower can put in a request, this is what I'm requesting of you. You can modify the loan if you need to change. We've had to modify a couple of ours and restructure them because people were having trouble. So then we went in and did a restructure and lowered their payment and put the arrears on the back end of the loan. So you can go in here and change any of the details of your loan, right? So that's kind of cool. And I think that's about it for the tour. If I missed anything, let me know. I can jump back on and do an answer to that. You can delete the loan if you want to cancel the loan. And yeah, I can't think of anything else to talk about on this. Reports. I guess they have reporting too, but we don't really have a lot of reports to do. But reporting basically is the same thing as the loan dashboard. So I don't see any big difference there right now. Maybe once I have more payments coming in, this is all new for us. Maybe we'll get a big report. This loan here is a draft, the one we just made, but these are all our people, and you can go into any of these loans and look at what's going on with them. I don't want to violate people's privacy, so I'm not going to go too far into that. But anyway, that's the Geekpay experience so far. Nice user interface, pretty easy to upload loans, a lot of ability to modify and tweak things the way you want. The biggest shortcoming is you can't go back in time. You have to start from today, so you have to handle arrears. I guess that's the other thing I could mention. I just put the arrears in. I'm not going to go deep into that, but I added the arrears in another field, so it's showing on their loan. Like this isn't their monthly payment here. This is their monthly payment plus all the arrears. These people are very far behind, and I have a couple of those, so we added them in. But yeah, that's the Geekpay tour.